Good evening, all. It gives me a great pleasure in inviting you all to this webinar organized by SICKI. Without further delay, we will start today's session with welcome address. I request Mr. Vinod Solomon, Secretary SICKI, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I welcome you to this interactive session on emotional well-being in the new era of virtual working. The COVID-19 situation, it continues to evolve. And in this time, it's so very difficult to feel grounded. There are so many issues that we deal in our day-to-day lives, so much of disruptions. So we've had the lockdowns and the subsequent restrictions in place so that we can stop the spread of the virus. It has resulted in a lot of other unwanted consequences. We are missing we are missing the regular contact with our friends, colleagues, neighbors. We are not able to engage in our day-to-day activities, maybe like going to the gym or shopping or attending a religious event or watching games. And in the workplace, again, it manifests in a myriad of ways. And the managers and employers are finding it difficult to make sense of the right approach. There's long COVID, and people are continuing to suffer the after effects for months together. To add to that, the media also, we come across a lot of negativity, both in the traditional electronic and in the social media as well. So how do we make sense of this? How do we ensure that we pay attention to our emotional well-being? Recently, the SICKI had an interaction with Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, the chief scientist of the World Health Organization. And she was expressing something similar as well. She was saying because of the priority to combating the pandemic, mental health and well-being, the focus and the priority given to mental health, emotional well-being, it was taking a backseat. So today's event is all about strategizing, sharing of best practices, and helping us make sense of how to be emotionally grounded or stable in this new way wherein everything is virtual. So we have two experts with us. It is our pleasure that we have Dr. Vasiki Madhivanan and Ms. Sai Bhuvaneshwari. They are people with immense experience, excellent speakers, and they are here. They have invested their time into this event to share their thoughts with us. Before I conclude, I would just like to say a few words about the Southern India Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The SICKI, it's a 110-year-old industry body formed under the inspiration of Mahatma Gandhi. We serve as a bridge between the industry and the government. We do this through various expert committees. We have over 25 expert committees through that add value to the industry through events like today's session with conferences, expos, knowledge reports, surveys, and consistently interacting with the government and supporting proactive policy making. We also are spearheading a few projects. We are trying to set up reading lounges in metro stations, industry museum. We are trying to set up a sister cities desk, and those are some of the few things that the chamber is doing. So without further ado, I would like to welcome each and every participant. I especially welcome the speakers for this day, and I wish you all a great learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinod. Now we move on to the main session. I would like to introduce the speakers of today's webinar. Our first speaker is Dr. Vasiki Madhivanan, PhD, consultant, psychologist, founder, president of IAPS. Dr. Vasiki Madhivanan is an accomplished psychologist with over 2 decades of experience in the field of mental health. She has extensive experience in training, teaching, counseling, and clinical supervision. To To channelize and consolidate her vast experience and to render a noble service to the society, she established Explore Counseling, an organization with the committed motto of hopeless to hopeful. She is the first ACA certified supervisor in India and a member of ACA College of Supervisors. She is an EAP consultant for quite a few organizations and regularly conducting trainings and workshops exclusively for mental health professionals, managers, and team leaders of organizations. She has also conducted workshops and seminars on various topics in the countries like UK, Malaysia, Australia, Doha, and Sri Lanka. She is the founder, president of Indian Academy of Professional Supervisors, a forum for mental health practitioners. With these words, I welcome Dr. Vasuki Madhivanan to the session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ms. Sai Bhuvaneshwari. She is an entrepreneur, life coach, and a counseling psychologist. She stepped into entrepreneurship world after almost 20 years of association with big corporates like Hitachi, HCL as a part of their senior management, establishing new operations and managing their regional sales and operations in Middle East, Asia, and India. She also worked as a chief operating officer for an Asian startup in India. She is a founder of Miraki's Consulting, which mentors various startups on their go-to-market strategies and operations. With a quest to understand human minds and give back to society, she started Dhimahi Mind Matters, through which she provides life coaching, wellness coaching, counseling services, workshop facilitations, etc., covering corporates, institutions, and individuals. She is a motivational speaker in many forums. With these words, I welcome Ms. Sai Bhuvaneshwari. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Bhavani.
Now I request Dr. Vasuki ma'am to take forward the session. Ma'am, over to you.
Good evening to one and all present here. Thank you, Bhavani, for the kind words. And thank you, Mr. Vinod, for setting the ground. You made my work little easy so that I need not give the introduction since we have already given. So let me share the PowerPoint just a moment. Just give me a minute. Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, so Bhavani introduced me. So I'm Dr. Vasuki. I don't want to repeat things again. So let me start today's session with some alarming facts. Though it is alarming, that is a reality and those are the facts. So according to a study released by the World Economic Forum, the global cost of 5 non-communicable diseases will reach over $47 trillion over the next 20 years. The diseases include CVD, that is cardiovascular disease, diabetes, mental illness, chronic respiratory disease, and cancer. The World Economic Forum 2018, mind you, it is 2018 before the pandemic, noted that mental health disorders are on the rise in every country in the world and could cost the global economy up to $16 trillion between 2010 to 2020, 2010 to 2030, if a collective failure to respond is not addressed, right? So this two research studies gives us the dire mental health landscape, right? As I said, it happened in 2018. So now, especially after this last 1.5 years after this pandemic, it has increased in an immense quantity, and that is a reason. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. Every year, October 10th is observed as World Mental Health Day. So last year, that is 2020 World Mental Health Day, the theme of this World Mental Health Day is mental health for all, greater investment, greater access. I think what you are doing and what SICKI organized today for this 1 to 1.5 years, sorry, 1 to 1.5 hours, it is an investment. So when I say investment, it is not about the financial monetary. Of course, we need to invest that also. But here, how much you are ready to invest your time, your effort, and how much you are ready, how much you are prepared to invest to enhance or take care of your own mental health. I think that is very, very important. And many of us have realized that, especially during this pandemic. So you may be, since it is a very larger gathering, usually I do give some time to get the answers and discuss about it. I may not be able to do today because of the large gathering, but still, what I request you to do is, it is as the title says, it is a reflection about on your own mental health. So, right? There are 5 questions. The first question is, are you content with your personal life and work life? Just ask this question to yourself. I'm just trying to do this to break the ice and set the tone for today's session. So you ask this question to yourself and get an answer, yes or no. There's no middle answer, right? So you ask yourself which I can give, whether it is a yes or whether it is no. You may say, yes, my personal life is perfect, but I have a lot of challenges in my work life, which gives me a lot of stress. Then please give no, or otherwise also. So don't give neutral answers, because you may not be able to assess your mental health status. That's a reason, right? So you may be doing very well in your work life, whereas personal life, you're not able to manage things. And in that case, please say again no. Yes. The next one is, do you feel in control? What do you mean by feel in control? There are times we do something and then we regret, or it is not, need not be openly, you have to admit, but sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, I should have not said that. Oh, I don't know why I very often getting irritated. I don't know, nowadays it is very often I'm losing my temper. I'm used to be a very cool person, but now it is not like that. That means you don't want to do a particular thing, but you are doing. So you are not in control. This may be about your feelings, or about your emotions, or the way you talk, or the way you act, or everything comes under that. So ask yourself, am I feel in control? If you get a very concrete yes, please put yes. Otherwise, just you can just note down if you have a pen and pad. Otherwise, you can just, it is just 5 questions, so you can do mentally also, right? So the third question is, are you able to meet your responsibilities at home, at work, and in the community without guilt or regret? How many of us do things with wholeheartedly, right? Once in a while it is okay, but there are times you just think or tell someone, given a chance, I don't like to do this. Given a chance, I don't go to office today. I mean, going in the sense, maybe in the virtual presence also. Given a chance, I want to be away from my family. Every day it is a lot of stress. Or something or other. I'm just giving you an example so that you understand the meaning of the question, right? So ask this question to yourself. Maybe things are okay. You are very happy to do all the work and everything at workplace, but not at home. Or you are okay to do that at home, but not at work. It is like, okay, otherwise I will be labeled as non-performer or not up to the mark. Or I'm not able to, this associate is not able to complete the work before the deadline, or some labeling. So because of that, I am doing that. Given a chance, I just want to look for another job. So whatever it is, so just ask yourself and just give yes or no. The fourth one is, are you healthy physically, emotionally, and socially? So when we say healthy, it covers all these aspects. Are you physically healthy? Yes, maybe you are a person who, okay, nowadays no gym. I think now it is open from yesterday. But still, if you're a gym freak, even if the gyms are closed, there you have found, you have found so many different ways to do your workouts and all those in your terrace or balcony or your room or whatever it is. So physically you are healthy. What about your emotional? Are you able to control your emotions? Are you able to express what you like to, what you are feeling, or what you are like to talk to others? What about your social interaction? Are you attending all the calls, or you are avoiding the calls, or you say that no, I'm in a work and I'm busy, or I don't disturb me? So when we say healthy, it covers all these aspects. Are you physically healthy? Are you emotionally healthy? And are you socially healthy? Even one aspect, if you are not healthy, yes, I am emotionally, everything is fine. But last 6 months, I have put on 2 kgs. That means physically you are not healthy. So accordingly, you just mark yes or no. Then the last question is, do you feel that the decisions you make are informed choices as opposed to forced sacrifices? Yes. When you make a decision, or when you take a call regarding any issues, so you are really well thought about it, you understand the consequences, you share your ideas, you just get suggestions, or it is like, no, I don't have any control, or I have no say on this, I am forced to do this. So what is that? So when you are doing something without your consent, or without liking it much, so you don't feel very comfortable, right? That gives you a lot of emotional stress, right? Since you are addressing more about the emotional well-being, I am talking about all these things in detail. So these 5 questions, just I'm sure that you would have got the answer yes or no. If 5 out of 5, just give a pat on your shoulder. If it is 4, okay, 3, okay, 2, okay, 1 is also okay. But only thing is, when I say okay, at least by this time you would have understood or realized, okay, these are the things very important. So I need to do something about it. That is why I have showed you the fact about the mental health landscape. What is happening? Why this mental health is becoming a very, very important, and issues related to mental health. Why important? I mean, how much important it is to address the issues. So it is for you to reflect and understand what is this all about. Having said that, since we are talking about emotional well-being, what do you really understand by emotional well-being? Okay, so I'm feeling sad. So can I say that I'm emotionally, I'm not okay? I'm feeling very anxious because tomorrow I have to attend an interview. Can I say, oh, you are feeling anxious? Tomorrow is an interview. Oh, your emotional well-being is at stake. So is there anything, what do you mean by emotional well-being? The emotional well-being goes like this. Emotional well-being is the ability to successfully manage life stresses and adapt to change during difficult times. Okay. So what is that, how you are going to manage, how you are going to adapt? See, as I said, sadness, feeling sad, feeling anxious before the previous day of the interview or the exam, performance anxiety, how we call. It is very, very normal reactions. I mean, normal emotions or normal feelings. It is very, very healthy. Why? When you are anxious about next week exam, at least it gives you a message that you need to prepare well. You need to study well. It alerts us. It helps us to behave in a very structured way so that you succeed in your exam. It gives us a direction. You feel sad. You feel sad because you received a call from someone saying that so and so passed away due to COVID or whatever it is. You feel sad. It is a normal human reaction, emotion. So it's a very healthy. If you don't feel sad only, then that becomes abnormal. So all these feelings are very, very normal, provided it doesn't become irrational, it doesn't become excessive, it doesn't affect our routine life. When it comes or when it affects or impacts our routine life, you're not able to get up in the morning. You're not able to do just the normal work, getting up, brushing or eating, even that is also disturbed. Your sleep is disturbed. So that is when we are talking about emotional well-being. Otherwise, feeling sad or feeling miserable or feeling irritated, feeling down, it is a very, very normal feeling. Please keep that very, very strongly in your mind. So as the statement, I mean, as the definition says, manage life stresses. All of us know that how much stress we are undergoing because of the current situation, pandemic, especially last 1.5 years. So how do you know what is stress? Stress is the effect of anything that seriously threatens a homeostasis. Homeostasis is nothing but the balance. When I say balance, when you say balance, sometimes it is just oscillates like this, but still at one point of time it has to get balanced. There are times it is always like this, right? So homeostasis, when I say homeostasis, the balance, what we are talking, so for an example, work-life balance, how you are balancing. So there are times you need to prioritize your work life. There are times you need to prioritize your personal life. So how you are balancing? Balancing means don't go by, there's a balance, it's a perfect fit. It is equal, 50-50. No, it is not. Balance means it is not 50-50. It may be 75 and 25. Someone is sick at home. So you need to give more attention to your personal life rather than your work life. That is okay. It is a appraisal time. So you need to give more attention and more time and more focus to your work life than your personal life. So that is what called balance. It is not 50-50. Many of us think that, okay, I need to, I'm not spending time with my children. See, last 1 week, I'm totally into work. Yes, it requires that. Maybe once you are completed or once you finish it, take a break, spend more time, quality time with your family. So how you are prioritizing, how you are understanding, how you are balancing your day-to-day activity, that is what helps you to de-stress yourself or reduce your stress level. Then, okay, I'm just asking this question because Bhavani said that there are people who may like to answer also. So I'm just wanted to know, like, see, there are different ways we come to know that we are under stress, or we are losing our balance, or we are not very comfortable. So can anyone just unmute yourself and just tell me, like, what are the different ways you understand you are under stress? Or what are the different ways to indicate that things are not okay or things are not as early, as they happened in the earlier days? So how do you understand? What are the indicators? Can anyone like to give an answer? How do you understand? What are the indicators? What are the signs? Yes, Sridhar?
Mr. Sridhar, you can unmute and ask.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I can say the stress is like when I can't handle a situation. When I can't handle a situation, I call that as a stress.
Okay, so how do you know? Okay, so when you can't handle a situation, yes, you are under stress. I understand, but how do you know that you are under stress? What are the indicators? Because everyone has our own way of reacting or responding to stressful situations. So what are the ways?
Way might be fear.
Exactly, very good. Okay, so fear. Yes, you become fearful. Yes. What else? Anyone else? I'm
Anxiety.
happy
Anxiety.
to. Yes. Anyone else?
If anyone wants to answer, please message me in the chat box. I can unmute you.
I think Meena wants to answer.
Meena was messaging and Bharat also.
Yes.
Because I'm
I'm
not able to
unmute.
see the chat.
Yeah. Miss Meena, you can unmute and ask. Yeah.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I think one of the symptoms may be like a depression, madam. Maybe we feel like
Okay,
we
you
don't
feeling
like to
you feel depressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. See, because I just wanted to give a comment on this word depression. This word is very commonly used by all of us, right? It is stress and depression. At least stress, but depression. Even the third standard child who feels that a lot of homework, he says that I am depressed, right? So depression, unless and otherwise it is clinically assessed and proven, we don't use the term depression, because even we professionals, we don't use, because it has to be assessed. But I know that what you mean by, so you mean that you feel frustrated, am I right?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yes. Anything else? Any other way? Okay, it is depression, fear, any other way. There are different ways our body and we come to know. Any other way?
Anger or losing out our temper.
Pardon?
Anger, madam.
Anger, yes.
Temper. Yeah, losing
I hear a lot of feeling words. Yes. Any other ways? Any different answers? You can put it in the chat box also. Okay.
One more person is there, ma'am. 1 second.
Yeah.
I will unmute. Mr. Sundaram, you can unmute and ask. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. There are situations we feel like slapping someone.
Yeah. We appreciate your honesty. Yeah. Many times we, yes, many times
That too after this pandemic development, as you rightly said, for the last 1.5 years, we are simply talking to the screens, right? Speaking to
Yeah.
letters, right? Not even the video is not unmuted by many of them, right? So,
Yes.
so this is
The same thing I'm doing right now. I'm only looking at my own the screen.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel like because there's so much of this frustration, so you don't know how to, so you feel like slapping someone, so
Correct.
that you just can. I mean, you bring out your energy. I understand. Okay.
Correct.
So let us go to this. Just see what are the different ways. Yeah. So there are 4 different ways you understand that you are under stress, or you are in a very discomfort or uncomfortable position. So it differs from person to person. There are people, because few of you said that fear, depression, frustration, and slapping someone, all those things. So there are people who respond to the stress through their physical responses. If, for example, pain and aches, right? If you may have that very severe shoulder pain or a knee joint pain. So many things. So when you go to a physician says everything is perfect after doing all the tests, and he says that go and see a psychologist. Sometimes they say that it's nothing, it is all about stress, right? So there are times headache, migraine headache is one of the very strongest common indicator of stress, like fatigue. You just had a very good sleep, everything is fine, but still you feel very unenergetic and you don't feel very fresh. So there are different ways your body shows. Please please stop here. You need to do something about it. That is the message given to you by your body. So it is a through physical responses, and sometimes mental responses. What do I mean by mental responses? Sometimes you just keep forgetting. You say that I don't even remember what happened. I don't even remember that what I am supposed to do. Nowadays, I'm not able to focus. Nowadays, very often I'm losing my concentration, focus. So all these are the different thing. I mean, it's a mental, physical, and this is the mentally how you are stressed out and what are the indicators. Then emotional, I think many of us are very much familiar with these things: anxiety, worry, nervousness, fear, and so many things, loneliness, and behavioral. So as someone said that feel like slapping someone. Sometimes you don't like to. So already we are isolated. Already we are kind of socially distance ourselves. So, but still, you don't like to talk to people. You feel I need my space. I want to be by myself. I want to be all alone. Just leave me alone. So, but you are used to be a very friendly person, right? So like that, no, you through your behaviors, how you are showing that the stress and how you understand. So why I'm giving a lot of importance to this slide is, unless and otherwise you understand you are under stress, you will not going to do anything about it. So there are different. It is not necessary everything together, or one person is only physical, one person. It will be the combination, but there will be some predominant way your body or you react to the stressful event or stress. So it is very important for individually for every one of you to understand what are my indicators. Then only you can address it, right? And again, yes, when we say that what is stress, and stress really impacts our emotional well-being, and what are the causes? There are different causes. I have just listed out few. Maybe relationship breakups, parenting. When I say parenting, that can be 18-year-old, or that you are the parents of 18-year-old, or you are the parents of 2 years, 3. Every level as a parent, you have your own challenges. Work pressure, marital issues, work-life integration, lack of sleep, insomnia, financial issues because of especially in this pandemic context of COVID. Many people lost their jobs and so many things. And body image, drug and alcohol use, which is, you know, what when the Tasmak shops were closed, you'd have seen in the media and the papers like how the suicidal and the domestic violence has gone up because people, they did not know how to cope up. Then sexual identity bullying. So I just wanted to give more importance to these pandemic challenges. Okay. So again, I just ask, throwing a question to you. When I say pandemic challenges, what are the challenges you feel that you are going through? What are the challenges? Just, I would appreciate if you can give me some quick answers.
Maybe if they type in chat also, it's good. We can see, ma'am.
Pardon?
We can see.
Someone had said
Yes,
isolation.
Yes, isolation. Yeah.
Hasty decisions, insomnia, taking more time to reply to mails, routine is gone, sleeplessness.
Okay. Okay. So yes. So all of us agree there's a pandemic is a big challenge, right? Yes. And I would like to talk about these things about in relation to current pandemic, uncertainty, lot of uncertainty. Even now, nobody has a clarity. Whether individually we don't have any clarity, and organization, they have no clarity when they are going to open, or when I mean they are going to call their employees to office. They know, even government has no idea. A lot of uncertainty. School authorities, they have no idea when they are going to open the schools. Parents have no idea when they have their children start going to school. A lot of uncertainty. Okay, now it is a delta plus. We don't know whether tomorrow is a theta and theta plus. We don't know. So a lot of uncertainty, and every time in the name of variants and mutant and so many things, a lot of things are happening, which we believed is the fact in last year. It's not the fact anymore. Right? So many uncertainties. So you don't know, like, okay, now it is open, and you don't know again when we are going to get into the lockdown. So it's a lot of uncertainty. So when you don't know, like, what is going to happen tomorrow, right? Nobody knows what is going to happen tomorrow, but especially during this pandemic, it's a lot of uncertainty, which gives or which makes people become very, very hopeless, very, very demotivated. I mean, kind of, okay, what is it I'm doing? Every day is the same routine. So a lot of uncertainty that shakes the emotional well-being of people, impacts the well-being, death and loss, especially during this second wave. Earlier, when we started in the last 2020 March, April, that was a time, a lot of uncertainties clubbed with, like, when you watch the news, you get to see the statistics, how many people and how many COVID positive cases and all those things. But during this second wave, it is like in my house and your house, known people and neighbors' house, or so many people, they got tested positive. Not only that, there's a lot of news about death and loss. It is grief and grieving, and grief counseling has become the part of our profession. And for people also, every other household, death and loss has become part and parcel of it because of COVID, not because of other things, because that is usually happen. So this all gives, like, we don't know, like, when it is going to come to me or my family, what is going to happen to me. So a lot of fear, lot of challenge. So these are all new challenges. What are the new challenges? Work from home. It was a boon 1.5 years back. When don't you think that many of us were longing for working from home opportunities? When given a chance, I like to sit at home and do things. But now many people are waiting when things will become all right, and I want to go back to my office space. And I always say in such forums, cafeteria is one of the places where you really de-stress yourself. You meet people, read people, talk to them, share with them, so many things. We are missing everything. So a lot of new challenges in the same house. Children are online. They are having online classes, and husband, wife, both of them are working, work from home, and there are older people, senior citizens. You have to take care of them. There's no domestic help. A lot of new challenges. So 24/7, we are confined to home. It's always home. we used to have a lot of routine, right? We used to do a lot of things to de-stress ourselves. We're going to temple or going to malls and movies, everything totally restricted. See, if this is my decision not to go, that is okay. I don't think I will be stressed out, but I want to go, but I am not allowed. I am restricted. My whole movement is restricted due to various reasons in the name of safety, security. So that is why frustrates me. So a lot of challenges and relationship issues, marital and premarital, and a lot of breakups. Relationship, when I say relation, need not be husband and wife, need not be people who are in relationship, even parents and children, parents and in-laws. I mean, daughter and daughter-in-law. So many issues, siblings, so many relationship issues, and sudden lifestyle changes. We have lost our lifestyle. What is it? All these days, what is it I used to do routinely? It is totally missed. So
Madam.
all these things really impacted our mental health, which resulted in shaking our emotional well-being. Having
Madam,
said that, yeah.
Madam, can I step in? See, the basic problem that I see is life has slowed down. We used to have a very fast life. Now it has slowed down. Many human beings are not able to be comfortable with their own self. No, that's the problem. You know, I'm not able to be comfortable with myself. I always want to interact with others. When that is curbed, I feel uncomfortable. Number two, the normal routine is changed. When I'm going to the office, 9 o'clock, I'll be ready. I go to the office at 10 o'clock, come back by 5 o'clock. Normal routine has changed. I have a lot of time at my disposal. Many human beings don't know how to use that time. They are not able to pick up new hobbies. All the hobbies when we were young, we are not able to revive it. We basically don't know how to keep our slow down lifestyle. That is the problem, basically.
See, the thing is, what we believed is a normal life, that has totally changed now.
Correct.
When we say new normal, so the new normal with reference to what we had earlier, right? So we don't even know like whether that was normal. But the problem is adapting. That's what, if you remember the first definition, okay, the how you are adjusting and adapting to the new situation is very important. So adapting. So what are the strategies? I'm sure that Ms. Sai will talk about, in detail about coping strategies. I'm not going to get into it, but the stronger message is, do you have control over this situation? Even if you are given a chance, do you like to step out? We are not ready to take any risk, right? Even if you want to take, you have to take a calculated risk. So if you don't want to take a risk, because we don't want to risk our own lives or our dear and near one's life. So what are the things we are going to do so that we cope up with the present situation? That is very important, because what I said all these time is, yes, we are facing challenges. Why challenges, and what is that? In what way it is impacting us? Yes, we understand all these things. What is it we are going to do about it? Because you and me, we have not the authorities to say that, no, tomorrow no lockdown, or tomorrow I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to mall. No, that is not totally restricted. So how we are going to cope up with the situation? Okay. So now I think I just hand over to Sai to just talk about coping strategies. Thank you very much. I'll stop. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vasaki ma'am. Let me try to share and start from where you have left. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Ms. Sai, you can.
Thank you. Thank you, Vasaki ma'am. That set the stage really well. As you were mentioning, right, there were times like 2 years ago, we were all thinking about wanting a chance to go to work from home. But then now, I found this cartoon so apt to every situation all of us are facing. I wish everyone is thinking right now that I retire from working at home so that I can spend more time in office. It's funny to see, but I think that's a sad state all of us are in today. Okay, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, small ones. If you can chat, it is okay. If you unmute and answer also, it's fine. What is happiness to you? If I ask you that question right now, I'll just start it off. I think happiness to me right now at this situation would be if I can go to a roadside tea shop and have it in a glass, which is risky at this point of time, maybe. What is happiness to you? It can be in chat. Anything that comes to your mind now. State of mind of the current moment.
Happiness is, excuse me, ma'am, am I audible
Yes.
to you?
Yes, Bharat, please go
Am I
on.
audible?
Yes, Bharat.
Yeah, happiness is actually something, what we are confining with that. So people cannot easily preoccupy with all the things actually. Some people get ostentatious things, few other things might not be having the sophisticated elements. So whatever you're having, that if you are confining with that, apparently that will lead to us happiness. Rather than comparing ourselves with the heightened people, preferably you could rely what you're having. I
Okay,
think that's what happens.
if we
Thank you.
become content with ourselves, with whatever we have, you say that's happiness. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I wish we all follow that practical tip in life, but then most of the time our happiness is generally associated, right, with a number of external factors and keeps changing. Enjoying in rain, standing in the sun. Wow, that's maybe with hot masala vada in hand also is good. That's really nice. But these small moments that makes it. Bharati was talking about being content. I couldn't get the name, but someone was telling about dancing in the rain, maybe, right? So these are all the moments of life which all of us enjoy. But for us to lead a living, we always go behind those external factors like money, love and affection, power, good relationship, many things we define and look for. What happens? We spend all our effort to run behind anything that we want at that point of time. That leads eventually into a cycle of sorrow. When I say cycle of sorrow, for example, I had a lot of happiness traveling around, for example. Now I'm not able to travel out of my home itself. That's become a point of sorrow for me. Maybe I loved wearing lipstick and walking with the mask. I think there is nothing I can do about it, right? That becomes a point of irritation for me. So things keep changing. So why am I talking about what is happiness? Because when I asked the question, nobody, like at least 3-4 answers I got. No one said I want to go out of home. No one said, I want to be in office. There was no answers like that. They were immediately thinking about from their past what gave them happiness, right? What was the thing that made them excited about it? So the reason why I asked the question is that Vasiki ma'am talked about so much of barriers that we are facing now in this pandemic times, working from a virtual home. These are all barriers that we carry. How do we break those barriers and find our happiness? It could be true to
Madam,
oneself. Yes.
Madam, you will have to qualify happiness. Happiness are of two types. One is temporary happiness, the other one is lasting happiness.
Yes.
Temporary happiness, you go for a tour, you go meet your relatives, that all gives you temporary happiness.
Yes.
If you are looking for lasting happiness, it can never come from external objects. It cannot come from inside also. That's a big
Exactly.
topic. As you go along, I will be able to participate. But
Exactly,
to qualify
sir.
whether you are talking about moment.
Exactly, sir. Just to answer your question there, I'll move on there. As I said, these external factors are temporary, which is a source for your sorrow also, right? In Gita, Krishna says, be like an ocean, right? Like ocean is not affected by anything that comes into it, right? Stays quiet, undisturbed by anything. So is the human mind not affected by
Yes.
the disturbance? That is the state. which ideally all of us want. Bharati was also talking about being content. How do we reach that? I think it's a lifelong
Exactly,
journey
ma'am.
all of us take.
Yeah.
So let me come back to the topic that we are discussing today. How do we break the barriers and find your happiness in a way that is relatable to self? Every one of you. I keep it in 4 ways. I'll talk about it in detail as we go along. Find your ikigai, releasing yourself, living in harmony with self and others, living in the present, being here and now. Let me just go in and then see how we can do that. This ikigai, if you see, right, this is actually a Japanese word, which it's a very interesting book that's been written. You can read if you are interested in reading. It's about a study of a remote village in Japan where the life expectancy of average individual there is 100. And 100 years of living with happiness, no disease, nothing, with full of happiness. So I researched on what made them live that long, right? We will find the answers. I will tell the answer at the end of the session, but they found out that ikigai actually meant a reason for living. What is the purpose of life? Reason to jump out of the bed. I am sure many, including myself, especially during this COVID times, we wake up really treading the day ahead. We lay in bed, maybe like, alarm is ringing. You are just lying down for 1 or 2 minutes thinking about, oh my God, again the same old day. Again, the mundane routine that I have to go, right? You walk around like a wounded animal, like a tiger between maybe the kitchen, if it's ladies, between kitchen and work and hall, everything else. I saw somebody messaging in the chat that without maid also it's a problem now in challenge. There are many challenges that's been added. We try to look forward to the day we finish the day. By end of the day, we are again thinking the same. Is it going to be the same for us? How do we find your ikigai? Which is, what is the reason for you to jump out of the bed? I feel that this is like a Aladdin's magic lamp. When you just touch it, the genie comes out. Not like that. It is about doing a self-reflection to yourself, asking you 4 simple questions. What do I love? Right? For someone, it is dancing in rain. For someone, maybe it is reading, as you see. For someone, maybe talking to friends. Though it is a temporary happiness that is there, that gives them the gratification of their senses. So with the current situation, what is it that you can do which you love? It may be simple things, but gives you immense satisfaction. Pick it up. The next question, what exactly the world needs at this point of time? Maybe your world is just your family. Maybe your world is your workplace plus family. Anything that defines your world. Your family needs to be with them, not only physically, but emotionally available for them at times. We are all at home. Are we emotionally available to people all the time? A question that we have to ask ourselves. Maybe my office needs me to manage my teams better. Maybe my world needs freedom from this pandemic. We have had enough. The third question to ask, what am I good at? This is to do a self-introspection about, today I work in XYZ company as something to earn money. That's fine, because I have to satisfy my financial needs. I have to address my family needs. But what is it the future that holds for me? Maybe there is something else I want to do. Can I do when I am ready? It could be, what am I good at? What I want to be good at? What I can be paid for? That's the question where we all of us do for living. You can ask and develop as a hobby. I think somebody was mentioning when Vasuki ma'am was talking that we have a lot of time at disposal. Maybe people don't know how to handle the time that they have with a slow paced life. I would say find your flow. How would you do? Let's just see. When I say release yourself, what do I mean by release yourself? Staying focused and staying creative. How do we do that? I will explain. The second is to release your ego and resolve your conflicts. What is ego, for example? Right? All of us have. Will you believe if I tell you that if you accept and celebrate yourself, your ego or your fears will just go away? Where does this ego come from then? When you lack attention Or I think when you have too much of attention, you start to develop the chip on your shoulders, or you start to become too much of yourself, or you are not getting the attention, you start to throw tantrums like the kids that they, right? But when you start to look into yourself, it may be easier for you to handle the conflicts. It may be easier for you if you start looking for solutions rather than the source of problems. Can we do that? It is easier said than done. Just for example, right? Someone was mentioning that people are not even switching on the video. Now, I'm also not seeing anybody. You have a team member and you have an urgent delivery deadline. The team member is not coming on video, and all you hear is a tone. And he says, "Sir, I cannot finish the work. I can't do. But we have to deliver today." Then his answer will be, "No, sir, cannot do. It is very tough." If he's in office, you look at him, you will know from his body language, his cues, everything, that you can make out what he is doing. At least you can track. How would you do when he is there, somewhere there, even without video on? That is when we start to connect with people more emotionally. Pick up a phone, talk to them, find out what exactly it is. You can't do it if you do it as a one-off thing. This is something you will have to keep practicing as long as you continue your virtual working in the days to come. Maybe just a call regularly to team members to check their well-beings. Stay emotionally connected with people. It was easier when they were there, just a coffee with a manager or meeting over dinner was easier. Right now, you can do a Zoom dinner meeting, you can do a Zoom Friday meeting, but we just had to keep going that way. There is no other way where we can face uncertainties unless we know how to emotionally stay connected with people. As I said, how do you stay focused and staying creative? A few things that you can do. First things, learn to isolate yourself. When I say learn to isolate yourself, go on a quarantine. I'm not talking about the COVID quarantine. Please isolate yourself from social media. More than what is not more than needed, please don't go for it. Overload of information now. All of us are becoming experts, starting from what vaccination is good, which variant is coming where, and so many things. Just use little. Try to isolate yourself from all set of newses that's coming in. See what is relevant. Because if the information is just a piece of information where you are not going to do anything with it, don't accept it. And if the information is going to create more stress and fear, just don't even see it. And plan your attire. Before we were starting the meeting, I was telling to Bhavani that it feels good to dress up and sit for a meeting, right? Otherwise, you are in your tracks and t-shirts all the time at work. What I started doing is that for the weekday, I start to plan my attire. Maybe I'm still in my tracks, but I have good shirts which I wear every time. And one day I decide to put on a lipstick. One day I'm trying to have a different hairstyle and all these things, right? My daughter, who is like in her 11th, kids are not even going out anywhere. They are having a lot of problems, right? She was having a lot of difficulties when she was in 10th. Right now, she has got to develop a habit that every day morning she comes up with different hairstyles for her on her own. So she starts to look forward to a date. The same boring routine of sitting in front of the computer, looking at the teachers, hearing. But then she is now taking her dress, keeping it ready, deciding on what hairstyle she will do for that dress. That's a way to pep up, which I'm learning from the kids. So you plan your attire. Take breaks. When I say take breaks, I'm not talking about lunch breaks, tea breaks that you take. Get the schedule that is done. Like say, for example, this week, if you have decided that I want to start at 9 o'clock, start at 9 o'clock and ensure that you are marking your end of day very clearly. Maybe every week you can plan your routine. Every 10 minutes, maybe every day, 10 minutes, create a segment of something interesting for you, right? In that interesting segment, do different things. It could be phone a friend. It could be like, you just want to put one song and dance to yourself in a room. That's okay. Or you want to write something, or you just want to spend time with your family. Give that 10 minutes as your me time or quality time for yourself. That kind of breaks. or you can even take the exercise breaks. I will talk about physical wellness also in the coming slides. Don't do multitasking. We all think doing multitasking is our birthright, and it shows our capability, but we will be able to focus only on one thing at a time. If you are on a call, please be on a call. If you are eating, just eat. If you are worrying, just worry, right? Then come out of it. If we start carrying one activity after another overlapping, what happens is that you keep moving. That's where the issues are. Set the boundaries very clearly at home as well as at office. When I say set boundaries, set healthy boundaries. Tell your team that you cannot call me during this time. Just be, I know, I mean, it is very difficult. I have never been able to set that boundary with my team when I was in corporate. It was very difficult. But then I came to understand that even if I am not around, things are working, right? What was the need for me to be present in everything that is that would have worked well even without me? Maybe after 9 o'clock, don't call me. Whatever it is, it can wait, right? Clearly set boundaries with your family also in terms of when you can be disturbed, when you cannot, can have time with them. Do that, and create to-do list maybe every week. Plan, look forward to the week. We will have to I mean, if there is a saying, right, in Arabic, if mountain is not come to Muhammad, then Muhammad goes to mountain. We are not able to go out, let the mountain come to us. We use our home as our world and start to plan things which you can plan internally. How do you do it? Just 3 simple techniques which I wanted to share. One is RAK. It's a very old technique, but then can be used in the virtual working environment now. Random act of kindness. How many times have you, spent time? We are all working from home now, full family. If it's a family of 4, every one of us is in different rooms taking calls and all other things. How many times we have appreciated our spouse for a better food? Thank you so much. Today it is different. Thank you. The coffee was tasting different. Thank you. Or maybe there was a flower arrangement change. How many times we notice? How many times the spouse noticed the different track pant you used, right? Even if it's a small smile, a hug, maybe you want to flatter your spouse, saying that, oh, suddenly you look 10 years younger. True or not, that's a different story. But then, that brings a smile, and maybe the question would come that, what do you want from me? Why are you telling me this? That doesn't matter. But do a random act of kindness, RAK, with a purpose. You can even extend it to keep it as a team meeting to your people. Arrange a meeting, just a 10-minute every week with your team. Meeting, just say, call it RAK meeting. That week, what are the good things someone has done to others? It could be that someone called to check the other, how are you doing? That itself is a big act of kindness at this point of time, to check someone's well-being, right? Maybe there is a team member who is going through the grief and loss of his near ones. Give a call, and one day lunch you can send it, maybe Swiggy it, whatever, right? But allocate time for that. That may be a way. How do you resolve the conflicts? I talked about facing uncertainties and resolving the conflicts. How do we do? If you see, I think many of us would have seen the news that Deepika Kumari won the archery gold medal, I think 2 days ago, right? This archers always the archery as such always fascinates me. If you see, they aim at the object, but the real point there is that they prepare themselves to face the focus from a new perspective. It is their inner view they work on, not really the external view. How many of us take an archer view of looking inside us? The learning and evolution that comes from within. How many of us see that? Like, say you have a problem with the team member, there is a fight that's happening, and he is shouting, he's not doing, like the same example as I said, he's saying, I can't deliver, in a very stern tone. Instead of snapping back, instead of shouting, you can maybe ask question, what is the responsibility I am having to this problem? what could I have done to avoid the situation? Maybe I could have checked 2 days ago. Maybe I could have asked if he needs any help so that I provide extra people for him to support. Maybe what kind of changes I will have to do so that the problem doesn't come. It's a problem for you, problem for him also. Work on effective conflict resolving, not even the virtual way of working. I think this is something which is helpful even if you go physically to office in the future. The next is to exhale the stress. There are many breathing exercises that you can do to do it. Like just for example, right? Let's just take 30 seconds right now. What you're going to do is that first, for some time, you will focus on your own breath. Just watch your breath. Wherever you are, close your eyes, watch your breath. When you hear this sound, I hope you all can hear the sound, right? Can you all hear?
Yes.
When you hear this sound, just focus on this sound, right? And the sound stops, focus on your breath. We'll just do it for 30 seconds. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we'll be ready. Yeah.
You can just, wherever you are, close your eyes, start focusing on your breath with a deep inhale and a long exhale. Start focusing on your breath. Okay, you can open your eyes. It's generally an exercise I do for a minute. Now, the first you were focusing on your breath and then on the sound. And then I think when there was no sound, what were you thinking? Any answers? You can unmute or maybe chat. Can't see the chat window though.
A kind of expectation remind when the sound when the sound was stopped actually, because
Yes.
we were trained to remind with the music for a short while and then it was muted, right?
Yes.
So we ourselves, had a reluctance to get it back when we are doing simultaneously the breathing exercise, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bharati. And Prashant is answering that part of the body inhaling, right? So you were not thinking of any other thoughts during this 30 seconds, right? You were either focusing on breathing or thinking that when will the next sound come, right? So those two were the immediate thing that you were doing. That's what I talk about the breathing exercises. When you really focus on your own breath, your stress starts to dissolve. When you finish this meeting, try it out. You inhale for some counts, hold it, and then exhale, unhold it. What would happen is you will be able to immediately feel a relief from your confusing thoughts. You get a clarity. You take the breathing breaks also in between your schedules, or you can do every day in the morning. We all say that our mind is like a monkey. We try to tame the monkey all the time when we work on. In the morning, when you get up, do this breathing exercises. It could be you can scan your body to see where the tension is. You can do inhale, hold, and all different kind of exercises that you can do. And allocate 5 minutes to your mind. And tell loudly to your mind that, my dear monkey, I am giving you 5 minutes. Whatever you want to throw at me, please do throw. Listen to whatever your mind has to talk in that 5 minutes, and let your mind know that this is exactly the time you will get. Don't interrupt when I am doing my work, right? Start making it as an exercise every day. Make it a habit. You will see that the clarity that you would get on the day, or the levels of stress that's going down, will be far better than that it is today. These breathings work a lot in connection with the brain. Sorry, I'm just trying to move to the next slide. Okay. The next one is to live in harmony, to self and with others. How do we do it? Connect with yourself and connect with whomever that matters. Whether it is within home or to somebody outside, do that. It could be through a phone. You start to write journals every day. We always suggest that writing really helps to take out whatever you are going through at this point of time. It could be anything, right? But try to see the positive aspects, like, 3 good things that happened to you today, 3 things that you were grateful for, 3 good moments of your day today, right? At end of the day, all of us are thankful that we are alive today, sleeping, we are kicking and alive. We are thankful when we get up the next day morning that we didn't go for a complete sleep. We woke up and we have a day to look forward to. Be grateful for that and write. Grateful is a feeling which helps you to handle stress, which helps you to also deal with your slow paced life that's coming in. And very important is to eat and sleep right. What is happening in this work from home situation is that we full-time work, completely into work without any schedules. So it is affecting the way we are eating. It is affecting the quantity we are eating. It also affects the way we are sleeping, right? There is no routine set for sure. Many of us are going through the same thing, right? Like there is a meeting that's happening at 1 o'clock during your lunchtime, then suddenly you go back and then eat at 3 o'clock. You are not hungry, you are skipping the dinner, but suddenly at 11 o'clock you are hungry, you open the fridge, you see the ice cream, you start to eat. Next day morning you have a bloated stomach, right? This all of us do it. Ensure that you stop eating when you are almost full, and when you are eating, only concentrate on eating, mindful eating, and eat like a lion. Have you seen how a lion goes for its prey in Discovery channels or anything? It just walks with the grace, and then even if it's seeing its prey, it will slowly walk, jump on it, and eats really like a king, the real king. Slow, nice, enjoying, savoring every bit of it, right? Don't be a eater like dog. Dog eats so fast as if somebody is going to snatch it from it. Don't be like a cow, just chewing, seeing your mobile, watching your news, talking on phone, or taking meeting, and taking slow. Don't be a dog eater. Don't be a cow eater. Be like a lion and eat when you are eating. Just keep eating as a ritual. Perform it with full love as you perform anything else that's there. Go for small meals. Go for local foods, and now the options are plenty. When you are home, you get a lot of it. You are less Swiggy, I think more home food for many of us. Eat all colorful things. When you feel like having food, maybe have fruits, have something that's healthy. Remember, when Adam came into this world, I think God didn't tell him to go and eat chaat or ice cream. He didn't tell him to go and take a Lay's chips packet and eat. He said, go and eat anything you get from every tree in the garden. Though there was no Coke or a Pepsi or a Lay's at that point of time, I think his statement is good to follow if we want to do well right now also. So go local and eat something that's natural. Keep it as part of your set to-do routines that you plan. Maybe this week you want to eat this set of food, next week different, do that. Redevelop one childhood habit or restart a hobby. Someone was saying, I remember that, we don't know where to find that hobby. We don't know what to, do with the time that we have. Now everybody is offering online classes, everything, right? Awake the child that is sleeping in you. Ask what is one thing that you want to do from your past. One small thing, right? So just I wanted to learn Veena. I'm doing right now. Not that I'm going to be a player, but it is just that I'm trying to find something interesting while sitting at home. Something that you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to be a writer. Maybe you wanted to take photographs. within your flat, maybe your kids' photographs, start painting, start drawing, whatever that you missed in your childhood. If there is nothing, cultivate a new habit. Do a new hobby. Find something that is interesting for you right now. Take it up. Sleep, as I said, is a very important part of life for you to work and function together. Lack of sleep creates so much of diseases, including insomnia, anything that you call for, right? If you have a very tiring day, you have a fatigue, you have a lot of problems, you're feeling so tired, do this savasana, nothing, just lie down. You know what is so tough about doing savasana, which is the easiest of all? That's what every one of us think. But then savasana is like being in a dead body position, without thoughts, without any movements, without anything that's happening, without being affected by anything external. Try if you can stay for it for a few seconds. Try it today and see if that's possible. You can do deep breathing, as I was saying. Back bends help you relieve the fatigues that you have. If you have sleep problems, you can do leg up the wall, you can do child pose, meditations, forward bends. You can even conduct a meeting with your team instead of sitting in chairs. Do a wall sit and then do a meeting with your team, right? See how many of you can sit in wall without any support. I mean, only the back support. See how long can you conduct that meeting with the teams, right? Find innovative ways to make effective use of times. The last point is be here and now, like being in the present, right? When I say live in the present, live slowly, find your flow. What I mean by that is that whenever you are wanting to do anything that you want to do it at a pace which is suiting you. Bruce Lee used to say that, be a water, my friend, for his martial arts. That's how I see this also. Be adaptable to the change, right? We can't avoid this. How do we make use of the time we have at our hand? Like, just a small story for that is that, they always say complex problems got simple solutions. We are all talking about many different things. Buddha was doing the practice with his men, and one of the person curious coming and asking to him, what do you and your followers practice? Expecting a big discourse, but Buddha just said in a simple way that we sit, we walk, and we eat. Man was like puzzled, asking, what are we are? We're all sitting, walking, and eating. What is so different about it, right? Buddha replied saying that, but when we sit, we know we are sitting. When we are eating, we know we are eating. And when we walk, we know what we are doing. Same way, be mindful of whatever you do. That itself will bring a lot of change, and that itself will give you a lot of courage to handle this situation. Last, the closure part is that how do we really flow? It's a summary of what we talked about: finding your ikigai, releasing yourself, living in harmony, being present there. How do you do? Just go for just do it mindset. Don't think of what will happen if I do. Don't do that. Go one step at a time. Start small. Set small goals. Don't go for a bigger one. Just small change that you introduce, right? Keep moving. If you want to take a break, you don't have time for doing exercise. I don't know how many of you know, we call it Topukarnam in Tamil. Start doing Topukarnam in between your thing. That itself is a very big exercise you can do if you don't have time to put anything else. Set clear goals on what you want to achieve. And set a day of unwind. Maybe go for a Zoom free day. Go for a call free day. Give 1 hour with no gadgets, nothing. Maybe weekly once, make it then weekly twice, increase it small. And visualization is very important in this overall thing. Visualize all the time. All the sports person, for sure, that they go for this visualization. They visualize winning, they visualize holding the cup, they visualize the feeling of winning. They win. You visualize it. What do you want to do when you are 60? Do you want to lie down in bed being unhappy, or do you want to go to Goa jet skiing with your friends? Do you want to be in temple, or do you want to be in parasailing. Depends, right? Visualize what is you, the fitter you in terms of mentally, physically, and emotionally. Try to fit the routine. Don't move the mountains. Instead, just climb the steps. Take exercise breaks. Just a small one for you. This is actually a Japanese exercise that they do it in group. They follow it in. It comes in radio. It's radio calisthenics stuff. You can Google for this radio Taiso. It is an energizer. You can start in a day. Takes just 5 minutes to do these exercises. Just basic one. Anyone can do. You can go with it. It is a good work for brain and muscles, and it is a very good stress reliever and fatigue reliever also. If you are a workout freak, you can do it as a post-workout stretch as well, and it can be done with any music. MSV, Ilaiyaraaja, Taylor Swift, BTS, Rahman, Anirudh, doesn't matter. It can be done anywhere and everywhere. You can Google for it and find out. I would leave you with a takeaway, which you can maybe start doing. I hope you heard this term called haiku. Haiku is nothing but a very short poetry, just 3 lines you write, right? So you can do every day for next 30 days, write 30 haikus about what with your senses. When I say with your senses, maybe the things that you see, things you can feel, things you can hear, things you can smell, things you can taste. Allocate some time in your day, maybe write a haiku, 3 lines about what exactly at that moment you are feeling. After 30 days, review. It would for sure be a very interesting exercise to do. Write through your senses, not through your mind. That is the point. Thank you so much.
Ms. Sai, we can go ahead with the question Q&A session.
Yes.
Participants, if anyone has a question, please post on the chat box, or else you can unmute and ask directly. So, Ms. Sai, actually, I have a question from my side too. See, we were also working from home for like almost for a year, we can say. I have a son. So he started playing with his mobile since he was attending his class online with the mobile. So I started asking, don't do this. For a while, I was telling him politely. After that, I lost my patience. I started shouting at him because we have many things at home. We need to handle office and at home, everything in middle. My parents were down with COVID, so it made me get really irritated. So I don't know how to handle it. Still, the struggle is going on. Maybe anyone, ma'am or you, anyone can just give me a suggestion. I don't know how to handle the situation.
Okay. Ma'am, would you like to go?
Yes, Bhavani, I think this is a challenge. I'm sure that many of them will think that, okay, same thing happening in my house also. See, if it is before pandemic and there is a lot of things we can do. We can say that let him go outdoor or let him get distracted and do this, do that, which is totally restricted. So as far as now, practically what is possible now is depending on the child's age. So how much they can understand, how much they can do things and do follow, and you being a role model is very, very important. So when you are at work, yes, you are using your gadgets or laptop or whatever it is. After that, what is that you are doing? Even parents, after that, if they are still going to sit with the mobile and just messaging or WhatsApp or social media, you cannot expect your child to do that. And more than that, when we say that there's no domestic help, there is a lot of work at home other than our office work. How much you can involve your child into that? Say, for an example, just as simple as folding clothes. How much even elders, grandparents who are sick in the sense, I'm not talking about COVID. Maybe they need some support. Just make them get involved and make them get more responsibility. So I think that is one of the way within 4 walls you can do. Otherwise, I tell parents, you don't get tense or you don't get irritated and you don't become anxious by seeing your child always sitting with their gadgets, because they are also totally bored. So what is it you are going to give as a substitute to what he is doing right? And nothing is as interesting as the gadgets or mobile phones and iPads. It is very difficult for a parent to identify something which is as engaged, as interesting, as exciting as a so you cannot give an alternate, but there are few things so that he gets distracted and he takes more responsibility, he takes more ownership. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Is it-
Just to add in there, right? So
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that, like from practical experience, right? So I call this whole thing same thing, right? For my kids also. I don't know if you have watched the old movie. There is this very old movie called Patanathil Budam. They call that genie coming out as Alampana, very old one that has come in maybe 60s, I don't know. So I have this Alampana task for my kids. When they are bored, they will have to come and report the boredom. Then I will give them some tasks where they have to, it could be a puzzle solving or it could be something that they have to find. I have hidden somewhere something, right? So they will keep on doing different work every time. It could even be a exercise I am giving them. Keep engaging all the time in things that they like. And when you say they like, if they say I want to do it in mobile only, I want to play, sit with them, start playing. Right? They'll be bored of your company and they will leave.
Yeah, that was a good idea. Yeah, sure, I will do. And one more question is there. Okay, what are the ways in which I can support my team member who lost his dear ones in this pandemic situation?
Okay. So can I answer, Sai?
Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Yeah. See, at this point of time, you being a support in the sense, you are just being the sounding board or just giving her a feeling that okay, someone is there to talk about it and share my grief, and that is very, very important. So how you can give the support and how you will have the show the support in an unconditional way. That is the thing. See, sometimes we tend to advise people or say that this is very normal. You just see at least of that age. Sometimes we bring references to the age. The person is old. The person is saying at least you should be. That and all is fine. But the thing is, they may be giving them a kind of a space where they can talk about it. So because the person who is in grief, they may have a lot of different feelings like guilt, feeling guilty, feeling angry, feeling okay, I should have done that, I should have done this, and a lot of negotiation. So at least just listening to the person is a very great support. And now there are a lot of support groups also. So if you can give, sometimes maybe if you're a very good friend or if you are a person who knows all about the person may not able to open up with you. There are a lot of support groups, especially during this COVID. So if you can get some information and just make the person to get involved, and so that she knows that it is not only me, there are so many people. And she also at one point of time, she understand that I am little bit better position than the other person. So it is a cycle. It will take some time. It will not subside in another 1 month. It differs from person to person and the situation and how the death happened, how the loss, and the person is how significant person in your life. So many factors. So as a friend, you can give support. And another thing, I'm just share this thing. And so many losses happen. Now, one of the things that I used to do is sending food, because I think that is a great help. Because you don't have the mindset, you don't have the mind to eat even. So just sending food, at least the person will feel that, okay, she has sent and I have to tell her whether at least the food is good or not good. For that even, and for that reason, simple reason, the person, because even yesterday dinner also I said, so I developed that habit because now we have this Swiggy and all those things, and we have that all these services, so we can avail those services, so that in an indirect way you are showing that, telling the person I am there, I am cared about you, I am concerned about you. So it is one of the way you can support the other person, because it is instilling a lot of hope in the other person also. There are families where they lost maybe parents, maybe parents, maybe 2-3 people, grandparents, 2-3 people, one after another, within a very short period of time. Right?
Yeah.
So, another thing is, see to that your friend or your close one is not taking any important decisions during this grieving time. That is not the time to take any decisions, important decisions. That may be anything, leaving the job or getting into a new job, changing something, whatever it is, just say that, just hold on, we will talk about it little later. So these kind of moral support, emotional support, you can just checking on them, just finding out how you are doing and how are you feeling. That is, I think that is a great support you can do, because we cannot go and see the person. That is also there, right? Making virtual, if the person is ready, making video calls and just try to talk to the person. That is a maximum we can do considering the pandemic restrictions.
Yeah. Mr. Sushil has raised his hand. Sir, you want to ask a question? Your voice is very low, Mr. Sushil. Can you speak a little louder?
Better now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Yep. So while giving some like solution kind of mode, Miss Sai was referring to some book like Ikigai, or I do not know. So would like to understand more about the book, and if we can have the name of the book which we can go through at later time.
Sure, Sushil. It is Ikigai. Ikigai.
And it is about what, ma'am?
It is actually about finding the purpose of your life. So there are some. It's a study of these Japanese men, Japanese people who live long in that island, and they found out the reasons or the life lessons why they are having that longevity. How do they live their life? How do they love their life? The book is a very nice one. It gives you a lot of practical approach to complex problems, I should say.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Participants, any other questions?
Also, another book, a Harvard professor on happier. How to be happier. In Harvard University. MPS. Whatever you do, there should be meaning in life. It should be pleasurable and
yes.
Sir, there is a disturbance in your line.
Jashankar sir, we are not able to hear you.
Yeah, we couldn't be able to hear you. Yeah.
By chasing objects which are outside. No, Desha Kala Vastu, by chasing the objects outside or chasing people or places outside, you will never be able to get that permanent happiness. See, but Westerners don't understand what is real happiness, so they give all these suggestions to be happy. And one other thing that he says is, give permission for you to be human. If you have a negative emotion like sadness, cry it out. Don't suppress the emotion, express the emotion. This is precisely what they are communicating. You know, they do a lot of research on happiness. The suggestion is express the emotion. We have a tendency to suppress the emotion in India for various reasons. He says express the emotion. Right? No emotion is positive or negative. It is human. That's why he says, give the permission for yourself to be a human. That's interesting.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, participants? Shall we conclude the session?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Vasuki Madhivanan and Ms. Sai Bhuvaneshwari. It was a wonderful session. You both made the session more interactive, which made it more interesting and informative. I would also like to thank the participants for joining this webinar. To know more about our events and other activities, requesting you all to visit our websites, please. And if you have any more questions to the speakers, please send a mail to me. I hope you all have my mail ID, bhavani.as@ciki.in. Thank you once again. Thank you, speakers. Have a happy evening to all.
Thank you, Bhavani. Thank you for
Thank you,
this
ma'am.
opportunity.
Thank you everyone
you
for
very much,
making it
organizers.
interesting
Thank
for
you.
us also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you all.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.